Hey.
Hello. Hi, this is Grant Inaba here with Good Real Estate Team, and I'm here with Sammantha Martinez. And I'm going to interview each one of my agents and allow them to, kind of highlight themselves, talk about their history in real estate, what they're doing in real estate, what they want to be doing in real estate, and just give them a platform to be able to kind of advertise themselves and talk about how they're different from maybe the rest of the agents on the team and also the rest of the agents in this market. So, Samantha, where should we start? Should we maybe start with an introduction? Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Samantha Martinez, and I am an agent on the Good Real Estate team. Yes. And I go back and forth between Southern California and the Bay because I do go to the school. I do go to school in the Bay, but I plan to live in SoCal long term. So eventually I want my real estate journey to end here. Or not end, but actually, start.
Yeah, so you're starting in the Bay Area where we met you, and then you want to be
Hmm.
able to transition to Southern California where you actually are from. And
Yes.
the reason why you're up here or you're up in the Bay Area is because you go to school at Cal, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so to actually, I'm really curious, how is it going to school and being a real estate agent at the same time?
It's it's actually easier than I thought because in high school I balanced a lot and I feel like college is a lot more flexible because the classes like you can choose your schedule. Like I can choose to put all my classes like from Monday through Thursday. I can have Friday off and then have my weekends. So, and then plus you don't go to school like in high school, it's 8 to 3. In college, you can do it from like 10 to 12 and you're good. So I really love the flexibility and it definitely does help with real estate. And mostly I've been doing like trainings and just assisting you. So that hasn't been too hard. But I'm sure when, managing a bunch of clients, it's gonna get harder to balance around college schedule. So as of now, since I feel like in training, what I hear in real estate, you're always training. So I don't, I don't know. But as of now, it's not too hard because college is so much more flexible than high school.
Yeah, well, your situation is very interesting because, I think that there's a lot of people with different obligations. Some people have work, whether it be part-time, full-time. Some people have family. You seem to do a really good job of actually balancing your school work and your real estate work, and you make it all work. So, I think that very soon here, we're probably going to put you into some of the lead generation programs because, the training that we've been doing with you, I think it's been going really well. I'm not quite sure what you think about it.
Yes, I've been loving the training. For me, I think I learned best actually doing the thing. Like I remember at another brokerage, we had offer trainings and I would sit down and like watch them go through the offer, explain every little thing. And that was helpful. Like it taught me a lot because they would share their experiences. But then I remember when I joined Epic and your team, literally the first day you were like, okay, we're gonna write offers. And I was like, wait, I only done a few classes. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, but then you walked me through how to fill everything in, and then you actually made me do it myself. I think it was like that day. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh my gosh, this is simpler than I thought when I was going through the classes and watching someone else do it. Yeah, I was learning a little bit, but I kind of forgot stuff and I would try to take notes, but I couldn't really like understand it until I did it myself. And so that's the perfect learning model for me is to actually do it. And then the same with showing homes. I mean, it does sound simple, right? You just open a door, but I found out in Berkeley, it's actually a lot. And sometimes opening a door isn't that easy. So that was something
Yeah, I
that you taught
remember.
me as well.
I
Yeah.
remember the first time we went out together and we tried to open the very first door ever, and it was an antique lock
Oh my
for the front
gosh.
door. It wasn't
Yeah.
one of these brand new locks at all, and I had to teach you how to open up the latch because it
Oh
was
my
something you're not
gosh.
familiar with. But now you're
It's
like
like,
always going out on your own and showing properties on your own, and I don't have to worry about you at all.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And then also the fact that I get to show properties and get money that way, not necessarily through like my own deals, but other people's, and I get practice that way is also beneficial because Epic has like Show On Me Platinum. Because before I was already signed up with Show On Me, but I wasn't getting anything. And then when I joined Platinum, I was getting a lot more
Oh wow.
notifications. So I was like, yeah, this is this is perfect for me.
Interesting. I didn't know they're actually prioritizing showing me leads to you because you're in platinum.
I think that's how it works because before it was dead. So yeah.
All right, good, good, good. Well, so yeah, that's kind of what we do here. Honestly, there's a lot of classroom training we can do, but I like to just throw people in the deep end and, just see what happens. A lot of times it's a really good way in order to kind of figure out for us what you're going to do in the future. If you can actually jump in, you're excited to jump in, and you don't take you're not scared of the water, you know what I mean, so to speak, then it gives us a really good indicator that you can actually handle anything that we can throw you in real estate. And in real estate, I think as you know already, anything can happen, right? So
Yeah.
what's the craziest thing that's happened to you so far? Anything?
The craziest thing that's happened to me, um, I guess maybe that one open house incident where like someone asked to take a shower in the open house.
Right? There's nothing we can
Like,
do in order to train you for that, right?
I was like, nobody told me that it's a rule, but I'm pretty sure you can't do that.
Exactly, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be against the law somewhere. I don't know. Trespassing, probably, right? Um,
Yeah, for sure.
so that's one thing I like about working with you is because you're quick on your feet. You're able to kind of handle yourself independently, and you also know when to ask for help too as well, which is always very important. Um, Going forward in real estate, what do you feel like you want to be doing? Is there anything you're specifically interested in? How do you picture your life in real estate, say today and maybe in the future?
Honestly, I want to be just like Moises. Like his position, I love what he has going. The fact that he, has a job and then he has his sphere of influence and he just gets to get like he doesn't have to cold call or do a bunch of chasing. I think that's really attractive. All he has to do is just reach out to his family. Hey, I'm a real estate agent. And yeah, he has a huge family too though, but I would love to be more involved with my community and do events and market that way and mostly like just sphere of influence. I think that's what every agent wants. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I think that's really attractive.
Well, I do something a little bit similar. I basically work mostly only referral business, and this is past
Yes.
clients.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I love that.
Yeah, so that's earned over, many, many years of work and many years of hustling and completing contracts multiple times at a time. But, the more past clients you have, the more repeat customers you may have in the future. Obviously, you can increase those chances by keeping in touch with them, making friends with their friends, things like that. It's all a friendship game. You're a pretty friendly person, so I imagine that you probably already have a big SOI, sphere of influence. But maybe there's some way in order to make more friends. Like you said, engage with the community more, put on events, things like that. I think those are all great ideas.
Yeah. I think I would love to work in the community, to be honest. Like maybe become a teacher. I know that's kind of gearing away from real estate, but I think I would love to mesh the two together. I think that's why I started posting videos because yeah, I was trying to post properties and do property tours and track people that way, but what's more fun for me is to actually learn things and then teach others. So, yeah.
I think what I started to kind of gather from your social media is you're almost teaching yourself too as well. It's like, hey, I learned this today, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep a record of it, and I'm gonna have this video for whenever I need to go back to it and things like that, right?
Yeah. I
Or
would
maybe
say so. I I heard something a while ago when if you can teach it to someone else, then that's when you really know it. So
Yeah.
I think that was a challenge I set for myself as well.
Gotcha, gotcha. So everything you've learned so far, you think you could teach it to someone else?
So
I think so, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I would love to, yeah.
most everything you've been doing so far has been, really it's been normal activities, normal buyer side activities, things like that. Obviously, pretty soon, you'll be doing listings and things like that, and that is going to be the new normal. And then after that, you're going to be doing other, different tasks that are going to become the new more normal for you too as well. And all of a sudden, you can basically just do everything, teach everyone everything. That's the goal, really.
Yeah, that's where you're at right now then, right?
Yes, and I
Basically.
was I was not really built to be a leader at all. It just kind of happened.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I've never really, done any kind of leadership before. I was in Boy Scouts, I was an Eagle Scout, but I wasn't like I was in any kind of clubs or the club president or anything like that.
No
Um,
way.
I wasn't the team captain, I wasn't any of those things at all.
Wow. And how do you like it? Is it nerve-wracking?
It's kind of fun, but kind of not sometimes, I feel like I'm personally responsible for a lot of people. And so when they fail or when they don't do something, that even irritates me even more. Is when I tell them to do something, they don't do it. And I'm like, look, you were supposed to do that and you didn't do it. And then I have to go and discipline them. I don't like disciplining people.
I mean, who does?
When people are already accountable, responsible for themselves, actionable, they take action for themselves, then it makes my job really, really easy. And I'm just looking for those people to work with. That's
Mm,
another thing which I like working about with you so much is that you are one of those types of people. You take the initiative, you even take it one step further sometimes. You have new ideas that, build on top of the ideas we give you, which is really great.
that's good to hear.
How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a leader? Do you see yourself as the person that takes initiative? Do you see yourself as a hustler? All these things actually have been qualities that have been described to you about you from other people that I've talked to about you. What do you think of yourself?
Let's say I think of myself as a leader. I think because I'm an oldest sibling, I was kind of born into that role. And also, I mean, some people, yeah, they're older siblings, but they don't really enjoy it. For me, I think I do. I think I enjoy being a role model, someone's inspiration. I mean, who doesn't though, right? But for me in high school, I did lead a lot. And honestly, I think that's where I got the most energy to do a lot. So, yeah, I would describe myself as a leader. I did this program. I don't know if you've seen it. It was during the summer. It was called Breaking the Cycle, and it was just a lot about personal development. And we won funding over the summer, and so I had to learn a lot about budgeting and just like programming and leading. And we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club, and it was like the best summer ever because I was leading that program and that was like what I looked forward to every day. And so I would definitely that's when I say like when I want to go back when I want to work for the community, I definitely want to do something like that again and somehow connect it to real estate. I think that's what attracts me about doing home buyer seminars and like teaching a lot about credit, even though it's not really related to real estate. I mean, it is connected in some way. And I would definitely want to go back into programming again.
Nice, nice. So that was the only time you've ever really done an event or led an event?
No, in my Boys and Girls Club, I was a part of it for like ever since sixth grade, so like 6 years, and I was their Keystone president for 2 years. So we put on events because I think I told you a while ago I have experience with like event planning. And we put on events to attract people to join Boys and Girls Club because we needed more members. So that was something that I did. That's, I think, how I was able to get a scholarship. Was not really through because I'm not good at sports. And yeah, I'm good at academics, but I mean, everyone who's applying college has good academics. So I think that was actually my way of standing out was through leadership, and that was what I enjoyed the most. So it was easy that way to just find what I enjoyed and stick. I stuck to it.
Wow. So that was what you got into Cal Berkeley, do you think? You think that you attribute it to that completely, right?
I think so for sure. Yeah, just my
Wow.
leadership and my passion for what I did.
You're a very unique person because I think you're one of the only maybe of a few that I've ever met that have gotten a full ride scholarship to a really, I mean like a really good university, right? So anyone who's out there, they need advice, looking for a way to get into a really nice college, talk to Samantha. I think that's a really great way in order to connect with people too as well. You can almost be like an educational advisor, educational mentor for people, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love talking about what I was able to do and how I was able to do it
Mhm.
because for me, it was something like a goal I really, really wanted for myself. And then I achieved it. And so now I would love to help other people achieve that goal. I love goal setting.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things. Um, for that, I didn't get the full ride from the school. I did get a partial scholarship from the school, but I got the full ride from a club connected to Boys and Girls Club called Friends Club. And they help teens stay drug free. And so they just educate on, yeah. Because I think the foundation, the directors, their son overdosed from drugs. And so they started that foundation to help other teens avoid that. And then they partnered with the Boys and Girls Club and was always in their programming. My dad, he actually has some problems with that. So that program definitely did help me and educate me. And so because I was a member of the program for so long and I was a leader in my community, that's why I was chosen to be one of their full ride scholars. So that was a really cool and unique opportunity, but it wasn't how people typically get it, like from a school or from sports.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. That's a very interesting story. So tell me
That's
about
the first thing, yeah.
so it's all about finding something unique that you can kind of make your own and take it to the limit, make it the best possible you can with it. Show it as an example to the people you're applying to college with. Is that what you kind of think? Is the advice?
I think so.
Hmm.
Definitely just go with your passion. For me, it was leading and personal development. And it's not something I just chose because I thought, oh, that's going to be the thing that gets me into college. It was just something I've always liked and was fascinated by. So yeah, that's my advice. But I would love to do videos on like how to get into a good school or how to look for scholarships because my sister, she was asking my mom like, "Do you have a college fund for me?" Like my mom was like, "Well, your sister was able to figure it out, so you're gonna have to figure it out as well." And she was like, how do you
Wow.
do it? Asking me, but she's an athlete, so I think she actually is fine. I'm not worried about her. She's really good at her sport.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, you mentioned goal setting, right? So, what are your goal
Yes,
setting, related to real estate? What are your goals that you're trying to set for yourself?
I think, oh my gosh, I had so many goals, but then, just actually being in the business and then thinking about it are two different things. So as of now, it's just to close one deal. Like, that's my goal. I think initially I was like, close 10 deals and,
Yeah.
do all this stuff, but now that I'm in it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot harder than I expected. So as of now, it's to close one deal, but and I think that will help with confidence too, because like now you even have me looking over like the escrow process because I've never got to shadow that before.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of just confused, like seeing all the emails back and forth. Like, I get it, but I don't understand some of the language.
Mm.
And I'm like, what's going on? And um, I see like you were able to negotiate a credit, but I didn't see that negotiation process. So I don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
But it just feels like there's a lot of missing pieces. I would love to talk over that process. I could fully understand it because I see the emails, but it feels a little bit confusing.
Well, you remember one of my advices to you and advice I give to all of my agents is you should always call me as much as you like, if not daily,
Okay.
right? So daily is
Yes.
good it's a good chance to check in and tell me about what you're doing, but also ask me about what I'm doing, especially related to this escrow because this escrow is supposed to be your learning experience, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I always tell my agents, and the reason why is because not only are you checking in with me, but not only are you checking with me about yourself, but also you're checking in with me about what I'm doing. And the more times you talk to me, the more times there could be an opportunity where I could teach you something, but you could also take an opportunity away from me where I can't, I'm too busy to do it. I can't do it. And if I feel
Mhm.
like you can do it, then you're most available. You're right there. You're always with me, checking in. And I know that, if there's any kind of issue with reliability in me giving you this business, then it'll always be something that I can trust you with, and you'll also ask me about it, if there ever is an issue too as well. Sometimes we give business to people and then they just disappear, they run away with it, and we have no idea what happened. And then we never hear anything about what happened and it never closed, and we say, "What happened with that?" And then they say, "Oh, things just fizzled, and we could have maybe worked on that together or something like that."
Okay. Okay, I
Yeah.
see.
Let's rewind a little bit. Actually, there was a thought that came to my mind and I lost it and now it's coming back to me. So you had told me about the Boys and Girls Club and events and how I think you kind of didn't really choose the opportunity. It's like the opportunity just kind of came up, right? And I think that's what happens sometimes. We just kind of fall into these opportunities because for some reason it just kind of messes with our life. It's like here's what I was doing and this opportunity just kind of lined it up and then here I am now. What happened with real estate? How did you get into real estate? What was the thing that happened there?
I think at first, like my first, 'cause nobody in my family works in real estate, but I do have this second cousin. We don't really see her a lot, but she's very successful. And I asked her what she did, and told me she was in real estate. And I didn't really understand what that meant at first. But then growing up, I was very curious because I'm applying to colleges, figuring out what career I want to go into. So I asked her, what exactly do you do in real estate? And at first I thought she was a real estate agent because that's kind of I think the most known, but she told me she was an investor and she gets passive income through renting out homes or buying and flipping them.
Hmm.
And that was very attractive to me. And I connected with her because our family wasn't really close to her, but I took the initiative to call her up, go over to her home to learn more about how she was able to do what she did. And I started looking into like how to get into real estate. And then I see the license, all you need is a few courses. You just need to be 18. And then at this time, I didn't know I would get a scholarship to college. So I was stressed out about how to pay for my college. And I think the number one thing for me was like, no debt. I don't want any debt. And I remember telling my aunt, like, I don't even think I'm going to go to college. I don't want any debt. And then she was like, everyone's in debt, Samantha. You're just gonna have to learn how to deal with it. I was like, what? No, I'm not gonna learn how to deal with that. And so I was trying to figure out all these ways to get my college paid for. And I was like, you know what? I just have to be 18 to get a license, and I hear they make good money in real estate. My cousin didn't exactly sell real estate, but she invested into it. But you have to have money to invest. And I was like, okay, so that's off the table. I have no money. So I was like, okay, I looked into the other careers and then I see agent. And then I was like, okay, let me start looking into how to get the courses. And I was already taking classes at my local community college for child development. So I was interested in majoring in that. And I wanted to get like a preview of what that would be like. So I saw that there was a certificate you could get. And then if once you get that through your college, then you could apply to take your exam. So that was how I got into it. And then I remember spending like all summer, last summer, studying for the exam. And then I failed the first time. And then I threw up because I was just so like anxious and like nervous about it. And I was so mad that I'd have to go through the process again. And so for the second time, I just bought this book from Amazon. I read the whole thing like the night before, and then I passed it the second time. And oh my gosh, that felt so good. It was like something that
Wow.
finally just checked that off my list, you know?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, and then, going to college, looking into the brokerages to join. Then I found Epic. So that's my story.
Nice, nice. I wanna back up a little bit. I know you don't want to talk about this, but I want to talk about it, okay? So
Yes.
you took the test the first time and then you threw up. So that happened right after you got your score? Or what like tell me the time of events or what happened there?
Okay, so I was, when like you're so anxious and you can't eat, I
Yeah.
was so anxious for the exam. And I also had work right after the exam because I was working this like consultant job for this program. My mom is like right here, like, oh my gosh, I remember that because she was in the car with me. And um I had a meeting right after the exam. And so I felt kind of rushed through it because you have 3 hours, but I told myself I only have 2 hours because I have a meeting right after. So I took the exam in 2 hours. And then I remember looking at that exam and I was like, I don't know any of this stuff. I was just guessing. I was like, what is this? This is not what I studied. And then it just made me so, and then I didn't eat that day because I told you I was so nervous. So then after the exam, I'm like holding the paper and I don't even want to look inside. And then my mom picks me up and I get in the car and then I have that meeting. So I'm in the car and then I open my laptop and I'm trying to join the meeting. And then I don't know if you get this, but when I'm in the car and I'm on electronics, I get a huge headache. Is
Yeah.
that is
Yeah, I
that
get
like a
dizzy.
normal
Yeah.
thing?
I
I don't
get car
know.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and then I was also anxious at the same time. So, and then I was on the meeting trying to hold it together, but then my head's just spinning because I didn't eat. So then I just put down the laptop and then I feel like I'm already gonna throw up, but then I just like force myself to open the paper because I can't wait anymore. And then I see fail and then I just throw up everything. And then I just start like bawling my eyes out. And then my mom's like, what's going on? What's going on? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a nightmare. And I'm sure my mom was so scared next to me because it all just like happened at the same time. But it was just build up from the whole day.
Wow.
But
And
yeah,
then you had to
that's
go
an
to work
intense
after
story.
that.
And then, well, it wasn't, I didn't have to go to work. I had to join on my laptop, like,
Oh,
because the meeting was for work.
yeah.
So, yeah, because it was more of like, it was a consultant job. So I just had to like join meetings and then I had to go to like this event once. I had to plan the event and then I had to go to it. And then it wasn't really like a traditional job.
Oh,
So that
gotcha.
was nice. But I just texted her, like, I just threw up right now. I'm sorry. I can't finish the meeting. That was embarrassing, but
But
I
you,
passed and I'm here. So
yeah, exactly. And so you said you didn't recognize anything you studied at all on the test?
I,
So you had to restudy for
I
the second test?
yeah, yeah, pretty much. I didn't. Okay, so when I first studied, I bought a book, or I didn't buy a book. I was being cheap. I was like, I can do this for free. So I went to my library and I found this book, like All Things Real Estate in California, Practice for Your Real Estate Exam or something like that. And then I was like, perfect. I'm just gonna read this whole book. Oh, my earring. And then I read the whole book, and then it was like, what was it? I think it was an older edition. And then it was so broad too, because it was also for like your broker exam. Like it was a two-in-one.
Yeah.
So then it was just too much information and it was very broad. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should have just bought a book that's for this year in California.
Mhm.
And so that's what I did the second time. I was like, I'm not going to be cheap. I'm going to order it from Amazon. And then after reading that book, I passed the second time and it was a lot better. So, and then plus, I gave myself less time because I had work right after. So it made me anxious. Like, yeah, I learned my lesson and I passed the second time. So don't
Wow.
be cheap, I guess, is my thing. And I remember thinking, like, there's so many real estate agents. Like, if all those people pass the exam, like, I can pass this exam. I don't know what your experience was with the exam. Was it, did you pass the first time?
I'll tell you mine actually. So this is my whole real estate life story. I was thinking about buying a house for myself, and so I wanted to learn about the home buying process. At that time, I lived across the street from the City College of San Francisco, and they had night
Mm.
classes on real estate. And so it was the semester classes, principles of real estate practice, and then it had all the elective courses too as well. So I took Monday and Wednesday, and Tuesday and Thursday night classes. And so I would basically take two semesters or two classes a semester. And so after the second semester, I'd taken the four classes needed in order to take the test. And so I basically just took the test, not really thinking about it, and I passed it. It wasn't really difficult to do because I learned it all over the course of a whole academic year. I wasn't cramming it like everyone else was. And so, during that time also, I was given these practice tests and I was told, hey, look, memorize these practice tests. That's about one quarter of all the questions in the real estate exam. So I had that going for me too as well. I talked with my professors a lot about just real estate in general, just because I wanted to learn more and more and more. I was kind of borderline obsessed about it actually. And this was all done after my regular job. And so I passed the test and I kept on taking more classes until I had a real estate degree, an associate's degree from the community college in real estate. And then I was like, well, I just want to keep on learning more. So I started actually working as an admin assist for a guy in San Francisco, just on the weekends, pretty much, or I think it was after work too as well. And I would be stuffing envelopes for him, or I'd be, writing letters for him, things like just random things. And after a while, actually, I got laid off from my regular job, and then the transition to real estate just kind of happened naturally. But I was already so obsessed about real estate; it was already pretty much a job for me. I was like, I want to do more. I want to learn more. I want to, just get going. And then after a while, I just started actually using my license. I actually interviewed with a company called Redfin, which was huge at the time. They had just opened up the MLS and made it public. It was like a brand new thing. The internet was just like breaking the real estate, industry wide open. I interviewed with Redfin about four times, and every single time they were like, "You're not Redfin material. I just don't think you're good enough," and all this stuff. And so every single time I interviewed with them, I learned something new about what they wanted, what they needed, and what were they going to ask. And so the last time around, I basically just ran the interview. I was like, "This is me. I know this is what you need to say. I know this is what you want asked. So I'm going to tell you all these things, and I'm just going to tell you everything." And at the end, the guy was like, "Well, there's nothing I need to do except tell my bosses that you're hired. So let's do this." And so that's what it did. That's all of it.
Oh, the heck?
That's
Oh
all
my
of it.
gosh. So you were a Redfin agent for a while?
I was a Redfin agent at the very beginning, my first couple of years in real estate. Yes, And at Redfin, they had this saying at Redfin. It was like an internal saying, and you'll probably never hear it anywhere. But at Redfin, they would always say, "Learn as much as you can at Redfin, and then go leave and join a digital brokerage." And the idea was that
Hmm.
Redfin was a great place to learn and get all this experience, but it really wasn't a great place to be able to actually have a career because they had this whole salary structure where they paid you a base salary, and then they paid you bonuses on top of that. So then it was all about closing as many deals as you can to get as much bonuses as you can because the base salary wasn't really that much at all. I think that structure's kind of changed. I don't know. I don't really keep up with Redfin too much. But yeah, I mean, it was a great place to just absorb all this, busy work, and then turn around and reapply it to somewhere else. When I left Redfin, I left in July, and then from July to December at the traditional brokerage I actually switched to, I made the same amount of money as I did the whole year previous at Redfin. In 6 months, I made the whole year's previous salary at Redfin. And so what that meant to me was like, okay, well, I made the right decision here. I condensed 6 months into a whole year's worth of salary at Redfin. And then I just doubled my salary year after year after year after year after year after year until I got to here.
Oh my goodness, that's insane.
Yeah. And I started out with
So,
my first property was like a It's like a $149,000 condo in Concord, I remember. So, it just kind of, properties got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and now I'm doing $1 million properties all the time. And it's all
That
referral
is so
business.
crazy.
Yeah, it's all referral
Wow.
business. It's just like Moises. I don't have to really do much of anything, and
Uh,
this is
yeah.
over the course of 15 years for me. And Moises, he just, he's got a big family, he just does it automatically.
My family needs to have more kids. I need a big family too.
It sounds like you need to reconnect with your cousins and all those people, all those second cousins and people like that too, aunts and uncles.
Oh yeah, for sure. So for real estate, was that your first passion? Or were you like you already like the job that you were at?
No, actually, I think this is like my fourth or fifth career. Um, when I was doing my day job and learning about real estate at nighttime, like I mentioned to you before, I was actually working in the library field. I was working at a medical firm, and I was the research librarian there. And I have a degree in libraries and information sciences. And I worked at the public library too as well as a library page. I did a whole bunch of stuff in the library field. The reason why was because I was really interested in education while I was in my 4 year bachelor program at SF State. But even previous to SF State, actually, I had a regular career in the film industry in Los Angeles. So, I have had actually multiple careers before I got to real estate. And then I always told myself, I was like, you know what, there's like a pattern here. I've been in an industry like maybe 5 years. I bet you, when real estate comes around, I want to make this like my real thing. Like I don't want to have to like, give up and do something else in another 5 years. Like I want to be here forever. And somehow real estate actually was that thing that stuck with me forever.
So crazy. Have you done any other jobs in real estate? Like I know you mentioned you invested, but did you like ever think about becoming a real estate appraiser or a lender or property manager?
Not really, no. I mean, there's so many different things you can do in the real estate field. I like having like maybe the idea of a real estate adjacent business. So like, we have staging within our team that I usually house inside of my garage in case we might need it for our listing or something like that. All the mobile home listings that we have actually is just furniture that I've kind of collected over the years. Picked it up on the side of the road, it looks nice, and I'm like, okay, we can use that for staging. Take it home and
No
like
way.
clean it up with a rag and Windex it down and make it all nice. So you kind of call that a side business. We could develop that into a real business if somebody wanted to. I'm not quite sure that I want to. But yeah, I've always really wanted to meet someone that was interested in like doing something like house cleaning, and we could just send that person out and have them clean all of our listings and all of our projects and things like that. I did one time actually start a pool cleaning business, and that didn't go well at all. Um, that was with the idea of, selling all these houses with all these pools and then having someone go and clean them and have an account, and make money from those accounts, but that didn't work either, yeah. So real estate is really kind of like the thing. Obviously, if anyone else wants to try it, then I completely support it and I would shove all my business in that direction. But, I haven't actually done any kind of real estate side careers.
Okay, I see. You know what I've really been enjoying is just trying to find people and then referring it. Like, hey, I found this person. Well, I've been doing that with Adam with the notary business. Like, someone comes to me and I don't have to worry about it. I'm just like, hey, Adam, like, do you want to? And I was starting to think like, do I like doing that in real estate too? Because I've been getting a lot of Facebook people messaging because I've posted some listings and they just come to you and anyone who I'm trying to convert people right now. And then if
Mhm.
I do, I'm like, I can just send them over to Sergio or to Esteban or to anyone on our team. And I'm just like, I really like that idea. Maybe it's because it feels like a lot of pressure right now, like to do something my own. But I don't know. I mean, that's called a referral agent, right? Like that's the name for it, I guess. But
Yeah,
I think I like that.
I'm quite often a referral agent myself. You know, there's a whole lot of so this is how I always wanted to do business, and now I actually am doing business like this. So the whole reason why I wanted to have a team was because I was doing real estate everywhere and all these different price points, and I would do everything, right? I told you my first deal was a $150,000 condo. Well, you know, that person sells a condo and then they buy a $300,000 house, and then they, you know, sell the $300,000 house and they buy a $500,000 house, and then et cetera, et cetera. But all these different, you know, properties and clients and businesses, you know, what I wanted to do was I wanted to move into higher price points and have someone else that could give all that different business to. And so what I'm doing now is I'm basically just referring everything that's under $1 million to somebody else. And then everything that's $1 million, I can concentrate on my own from my own business, you know. So that's how I work referral business because I don't think that it's necessarily viable to try and just do referral business. That doesn't pay the bills. It's not enough money. You're only getting one quarter of a commission. You know, that's actually less than you'd have to do like maybe four or five of those in order to make minimum wage. So, or make, you know, do four or five of them in order to make the same amount of money as you would a regular commission on one house.
Okay, I see. When you said that at first, I was like, okay, let me rethink that then. But
I think it's good to do it like every once in a while, but you know, I think you should always try and do the business if you can.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
I would actually, I would give you this piece of advice. Anyone else that's out there too as well. If you have a lead, try and find a newer agent and have them just go out and show the properties, and then you stay in contact with the client, and then you make that client your own. Every time that client wants to make an offer on a property, you know, you write the offer. Anytime that client has a question, things like that, you answer that question. You know, you are that person's agent. But if they need to do stuff and you can't do it, then have the showing agent that basically works underneath you to do all that stuff on the ground, you know, like the showing the properties. Pay them $100 to show that house, you know, things like that. That's kind of what we're doing with
Yeah,
you, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so
And
find your
honestly,
own.
I love being a showing agent. Like, I'm like, is this a full-time job that I can do? I don't know, but I think it's fun because not so much pressure. Like if someone has a question, I'm like, oh, you gotta ask your agent. So sorry, you can't ask me. And then really it's like I don't know that question. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, thank God, like that's not my client. Like I remember I was showing this property in Norwalk, and then behind them there was all this construction going on, and it was like literally in their backyard, and there was like they were like, "Excuse me, like, do you know what's going on back there?" And then I was like, you can ask your agent to look into that because I don't know." Like, I feel like sometimes there's so many questions that people can ask, and it's like they look to you as the expert, but it's like I don't know. Yeah, I know some things in real estate, but I don't know everything going on in the world, you know? So
Yeah.
that's a little bit hard sometimes, but it yeah, definitely takes the pressure off. Just I'm only here to open the door. But I remember I was doing a showing for this other agent in Berkeley, and met them, and I was like, yeah, hey, I'm just showing this home for this agent. And then they were like, yeah, yeah, no worries. We understand. All we need you to do is open the door. And I was like, yes, like I can do that. And then it's Berkeley, so then I try to go open the door and I literally can't do it. And then I just look over and I see like the wife right there, like kind of annoyed because she's like, all we needed you to do is open the door. And I couldn't even do that. So, and then she kind of made a comment. I remember after there was another agent waiting to go in, and then the agent was like, she told the agent, "Oh, make sure, just know that it's hard to open that door." And then the agent was like, "Don't worry, I got it. I do this for a living." And then she was like, "Yeah, right? You would think, right? You would think." And then I was like, she's making a comment at me. I couldn't open the door. Oh, but
Well, as
yeah.
real estate agents, we have to be the expert at everything, as you know, as you can tell.
Yes.
You know, after a while, you have all these questions, you encounter all these scenarios, and then you know what to do in the future. So just remember all these things, and you know, build upon that experience. All of a sudden, you're an expert at everything, just like us.
It must be so nice. Like you've probably been through like all the experiences already. Like you already know what to do
Most of them, yes.
about
Otherwise,
all
I
of
know how to
them.
deal with them. Yeah. Uh-huh. It's I don't know. Maybe it's a talent or a skill, but it's definitely something that it comes in very handy when you're a real estate agent. Um, so work on that. I think right now you're kind of looking for the path of least resistance, or you're looking for the easy way out. There's no easy way out in real estate. You just got to jump in, throw yourself in the deep end, and just do all of it. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so we're hitting maybe about 45 minutes or so. Anything that you want to talk about in the last 15? Anything that you want to share with everyone or any kind of, last parting words for us?
14 words. Hmm. I would say definitely join a team that's going to support you because I noticed a huge difference. I thought I could be an independent agent and it would be a lot better and easier, but I definitely know I need a mentor. I need someone who I can call anytime, and you need support in your first year or else you're gonna want to give up. So
Hmm.
those are my parting words.
Okay. All right. That's good advice. That's good advice. I've seen actually agents independently succeed, but I would say it's about one out of every maybe 25 or so. It's very rare actually you see someone actually succeeding on their own. Those people definitely have a very good business intuition, or maybe have experience already in some kind of related way or something like that. But it's very, very rare actually that we find people succeeding on their own. With our team, we've got so much support. We have so much opportunities too as well. Zillow Flex, Zillow Preferred, all the buyer leads that come in from our lenders, all the seller leads that come in from our online lead gen. Also, the leads that come in from Lofty, support that comes from Lofty and Epic, and all the educational programs that we put on our team, as well as the brokers too. It's just a lot of great information that you guys can take advantage of. So, I hope you're taking advantage of them. I know you are, and I hope
Yes.
to. I really hope that we can make another video like in a year from now or 2 years from now, and we can play this one first and we can just compare all the different things that we said back then now, and then compare it to the future Samantha and how she succeeded then.
I'm so excited.
All
I want to
right.
fast forward to that year.
Well, look forward to it, and we'll go ahead and say goodbye. Samantha, let them know who you are and what you're doing and who you're up to, what you're up to, who you are, and your parting bye-byes.
Thank you, Grant. Bye, guys.
All right, bye-bye. Samantha Martinez. There she is. Bye-bye.